Hey guys, Chad here from Take It or Leave It, here with the top 10 biggest pleasant surprises of 2024. And apologies up front, I'm kind of losing my voice, I've been sick for a little bit, so bear with me here. But just as a reminder, a pleasant surprise is generally one of two scenarios. One is when I went into a movie completely blind, knew nothing about it, and it just blew my mind. And the other scenario is when I go into a film with low expectations, and then I come out of the film and it surpassed my expectations significantly. Alright, with that down, let's get into the 10th biggest surprise of 2024 for me, which was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Many years after the reign of Caesar, a young ape goes on a journey that will lead him to question everything he's been taught about the past and make choices that will define a future for apes and humans alike. Look, I was a major fan of the recent Planet of the Apes trilogy, mostly done by Matt Reeves. I truly think it's one of the best modern day trilogies that we have, but I just wasn't sure, are they really going to be able to come out with something that can compete with that trilogy, like a fourth film that can compete with that? But man, was I surprised when they totally beat my expectations and created a very organic evolution to Caesar's story and legacy. And at number 9, we have Beezle. Over 60 years, 3 guests of a cursed home discover an eternal witch who lives beneath it with an insatiable thirst for living souls. Yeah, so I knew very little about this film going into it, but I was so genuinely intrigued that the story spans roughly 60 years. And as the synopsis says, there's 3 guests that stay there, so we get to see the generational jump from guest to guest, and it almost feels like an anthology film, except each story is connected in some way or another. So not only was that story structure interesting, but actually the movie was pretty goddamn scary at times. And at number 8, we have The Coffee Table. Jesus and Maria are a couple going through a difficult time in their relationship. Nevertheless, they have just become parents. To shape their new life, they decide to buy a new coffee table, a decision that will change their existence. Man, this movie was made for this list as it came completely out of nowhere. And not only is it one of the biggest surprises of the year, but it certainly has the most surprising scene of the year. Maybe not surprising, but certainly shocking. And once that shocking scene happens, oh my god, my knuckles were white the entire rest of the film. And the 7th biggest surprise of the year for me was The Funeral. Kamal, who drives a hearse for a living, is entrusted with secretly carrying the body of a young woman at the request of her family. One night, he hears strange groans from the back of the truck, even though the woman hasn't got a pulse. This is a little Turkish film that came out of nowhere for me, and I definitely found myself won over by this very bizarrely sweet couple. But while I came for the romance, I stayed for the horror and the mystery that grows and grows over the course of the film, ending with a very cool, snowy action set piece that was a great capper for the film. And at number 6, we have Magpie. A couple find their lives turned upside down when their daughter is cast alongside a controversial movie star. And this is definitely one of those films that I came into with low expectations, and it's really not fair to the actress Daisy Ridley that I did so, but nonetheless I did because I'd never seen Daisy Ridley outside of the Star Wars franchise, so I just didn't know if she was a genuinely strong actress. But hey, goddamn, I stand corrected, as she gives a fantastic boa constrictor in sheep's clothing performance. And I also loved how this film stays in the pocket of reality despite having that 90s sex thriller vibe and suspense to it. And now we're breaking into the top 5 biggest pleasant surprises of the year with Before the World Set on Fire. An unidentifiable virus breaks out at a college, forcing Professor Anya Davis to conduct her seminar online. After a tragedy happens in the class, a battle of ethics begins between Anya and the institution. This is another one of those films that was completely off my radar, but interestingly enough, it stayed on my mind more than any other film on this list. And I think that that's due to the compelling drama and mystery that unfolds in a non-linear fashion, plus the interesting ethical questions that the film asks hooks us as the viewers. And at number 4, we have Mads. A teenager stops off to see his dealer to test a new drug before heading off for a night of partying. On the way home, he picks up an injured woman and the night takes a surreal turn. And man, this might be the most out of nowhere film on this list, because I heard about this film literally like a few days before it released on VOD, but goddamn, talk about blowing my mind. Because not only is this film shot in one continuous take, but it also spans an entire city and potentially ends with the impending apocalypse. I mean, what a feat! And the third biggest pleasant surprise of 2024 was Little Bone Lodge. Set during a vicious storm, two criminal brothers on the run seek refuge in a desolate farmhouse. Taking the resident family captive, they find the house holds dark secrets of its own. Man, talk about low expectations. I passed on this movie when it came out this summer until I came across it again a few weeks ago, and thank God I did, because this film feels like The Last House on the Left and Saw had a baby in the best of ways. And all things considered, it has some really great character development, which is tough for a film like this because you get invested in some of these characters and not all of them walk away unscathed. And at number 2, we have Slingshot. An astronaut struggles to maintain his grip on reality aboard a possibly fatally compromised mission to Saturn's moon, Titan. This was one of those I almost skipped entirely, except I don't think much came out the weekend that this was released, and you know, Morpheus? Shit. Which one is it? It's Morpheus. Oh no, this is awful. Holy shit, it's Morpheus. I had to look that up. That is so sad. Screw you, Morbius, for messing with my head like that. Anyway, Morpheus and Casey Affleck are in this film, so I was like, alright, you know, I'll go in with low expectations. We'll see how it is. And man, I came out of this film thinking, dude, that feels like 1408 in space. And ironically enough, the guy who directed 1408 with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, he directed Slingshot, so it makes, you know, complete sense that this feels like 1408 in space. And if that sounds cool to you, then definitely check out Slingshot. And finally, the biggest pleasant surprise of 2024, the one that knocked me on my ass the most, is Smile 2. About to embark on a world tour, global pop sensation Sky Riley begins experiencing increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events and is forced to face her past. I don't know what it was about this film, but this was the film that I think I might have had the lowest expectations for. I think it's because it felt a bit forced and the trailer did absolutely nothing for me. And I didn't see this film for like 3 weeks, but luckily I was just bored as hell one night. I needed to get out and see a movie. I wanted to see something, you know, not an A24 film, just something easy to consume, and Smile 2 felt like that in spades. I don't know why, but I expected something like Night Swim or Imaginary, something very Blumhouse, like that kind of Blumhouse. But my god, I came out of that film thinking, holy shit, I like that more than the original Smile. This film just felt more character driven, and it ended in a way that genuinely pumped me up for a Smile 3. And yeah, that was the last thing that I expected going into Smile 2. But those are just my thoughts, take it or leave it. What do you guys think? What are your biggest surprises of 2024? Does your list look a lot like my list? Let me know down in the comments section, let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this video but you want more information about what's on my watch list, what I'm currently watching, the kind of ratings I'm giving these films, as well as upcoming releases I'm looking forward to, don't forget to follow me on track.tv. My username is TIOLI_reviews. The link is in the description box. Go ahead and click it and start following me on Tracked, and I look forward to seeing you over there. And as usual, guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit that like and subscribe button, and until next time, I'm Chad from Take It or Leave It, and I'll check you later.
Check you later. Check you later.
Hey man, get off my case.
Oh man. Chicks don't want to hear that shit.